Okay, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today we have a real cool find for the channel. This is a super affordable Seiko, and when I say super affordable, I mean it's extremely affordable. Under $200, really in the $150 range. You can actually, find these for in the 140s, depending on what type of deal you're getting. But let's first start out with a little bit about the brand. Of course, Seiko was founded back in 1881. They are Japanese in origin and now have factories throughout Asia. And one of the really special things about Seiko brand is that they cover all market segments, everything from extremely entry level to the very highest of high-end hot horology. Now, this particular type of watch I would consider an everyday watch, and that's due to the size. Now, if it was smaller, I might consider it a more of a dedicated dress watch, but I think due to its particular size, it really falls more in that everyday category, which some key common characteristics and design language for an everyday watch is you're going to want something that's really a versatile blend of sporty and dressy attributes. Now, I think that this watch really has those attributes, honestly. And as you can see there, I do have a couple of different straps kind of waiting in the wings to be featured on this particular model because I think it is really quite versatile. And a big shout out to Wrist Candy Watch Club. Now, with the affordable nature of this particular watch, I thought it was only fitting that we put some super affordable straps on there. It just wouldn't make sense to put, $100, $200 strap set on a watch that costs $150 basically. So let's go ahead and get this piece in hand and take a closer look. Okay, so as you read there in kind of the intro with all of the exact specs, this is of course a 42 millimeter diameter watch that has a 12 millimeter height and also has a 49 millimeter lug to lug width, so all the way across from end to end there. This is fully polished and and of course in a stainless steel. Now, as far as the crystal goes, this is actually a single domed hardlex crystal, and because it's single dome means it's only domed on the outside, so there is a fair amount of distortion there. As you can see, when you hit it at angle, there's definitely going to be that distortion. Some people love it, some people hate it. I personally I think it kind of depends on the model. Of course, for the price of this particular piece, I think a little lens distortion definitely is not a huge deal breaker. Now, this does have a, basically a fixed, fully polished bezel, and then an unpolished an unsigned crown that is basically pretty plain, but definitely goes with this whole very stark theme there, very classic look. The nice thing is you can see this really beautiful for our 35B movement there. So it does have hacking and hand winding, which is really great to have. And then when you flip it back over here, you can see very classic look there with the baton style indexes, and then really beautiful kind of dot index there for the 60 minutes all the way around. Now, this does have a very high gloss black dial, and this is also 10 bar water resistant, which is great, so about 100 meters. And this particular model has 20 millimeter lugs, which is very useful and will help with the strap changes there. And you know what? This thing is just a really nice kind of, I'd say, super versatile piece there that I think that instead of maybe going for your generic kind of let's say Orient Bambino, which everybody always recommends, they do have some drawbacks with kind of odd lug widths and whatnot. And then because of the mineral crystals, they, a lot of people kind of underestimate, everybody kind of groups in mineral crystals together, but Seiko's hardlex minerals, I've actually had really no problems with ever. I don't think I've ever scratched or chipped Seiko Hardlex, and I've even like fried a couple of date magnifiers off of those, and they still were just really in great condition. As for my mineral crystals in, like, let's say my Orient watches, I've definitely banged those up and actually kind of damaged those in the past. So that's something to definitely consider. I know it's definitely not a sapphire, but you know, Seiko's Hardlex is, I'd say, definitely a step above your standard mineral crystal as far as toughness goes. So with that said, let's go ahead and get this on the wrist. Okay, now as you can see, wears really well on the wrist. You know, it might seem a little bit larger proportion, but honestly, when you kind of get more arm in there, or if I was to be standing here full profile, you know, on a human body, this actually wouldn't look too bad at all. As far as size, of course, it's going to look very, very large at kind of an up-close wristy and whatnot. But at 42 millimeters, and honestly, this dial does not push all the way out to the ends there. It actually helps the watch wear a bit more modestly. Now, if this was something, let's say like a Bambino, where the dial and the crystal really push all the way out to the ends of the cases, it actually would look a bit bigger. So I think part of this watch's charm, apart from the price, of course, is that it does have that kind of magic Seiko work done to it, to where I'd say you can't 100% just rely on the numbers. So you can't just say, well, it's a 42 millimeter, you know, non-diver, so that's just going to be way too big. Of course, there are tons of watch brands out there that offer 42, 43, 44 millimeter kind of dressy watches like this style. So why not Seiko, with all of their brand history and cachet, also offer something, especially when you have watches out there like the movement, the MVMT kind of Arc Automatic, or, you know, of course, even from Seiko's kind of sister company, Orient. So with those other options out there, I just saw this and this really spoke to me, and honestly, I kind of could see this easily becoming kind of a cult classic, and being one of those watches that might start out around 150 bucks, but start getting scarce, start getting on Instagram, and start really circulating. And I think, as you can see, really nice modern proportions, and you know, although definitely on the larger side, I wouldn't consider it, you know, oversized or anything like that. So let's actually go ahead now and maybe try out a couple of these different straps and really just kind of check the versatility on this piece. Okay, now before we get into that, let's actually just take a closer look at the supplied strap. It does have a signed buckle there, fully polished, as you can see, except for underneath, Seiko calf. And then you do have, you know, the nice lining underneath. Now, this isn't a complete throwaway strap. It's actually not too bad. It is a bit stiff, you know, and really Seiko and really most brands aren't known for having really nice kind of OEM strap equipment there. But I think as far as the aesthetics go, it's definitely a nice look, but it definitely leans a little bit more on the dressy side. So let's go ahead. See, we've already remounted the spring bars here, so you can get a nice look at this case, a little bit, you know, not encumbered by the rest of the strap there. And now let's go ahead and start with, let's say, like a nice NATO from Wrist Candy Watch Club, and you can see there, these are really easy to go ahead and slide through. And the real nice thing about the Wrist Candy Watch Club NATOs is that the hardware that they supply is kind of a mixture. It's a little bit in between, I'd say, you know, the type of rounder hardware you'd see on like kind of a Zulu style strap, versus the actual, you know, more squared off hardware. And the nice thing is this now is definitely a lot more dressed down, and I think that looks really, really good. It's definitely super versatile from that standpoint, and really, I'd say is dressed down, but could still easily be worn with, you know, a nice button down or whatnot. And everything flows just really well. And of course, the polished hardware definitely ties into the fully polished case there. So really nice. We'll even probably get these maybe briefly on wrist as well. Let's go ahead and do that so you guys can get a little demo from this standpoint on how I'm gonna navigate each strap with one glove on. And if you've never put on a NATO strap before, as you can see, it's pretty simple. And although the Wrist Candy Watch Club NATOs are not super duper long, and for me with a 7 1/4 inch wrist, I normally will favor longer NATO straps. The nice thing is that because they have that little articulation, as you can see here, it actually does offer a little bit of kind of mild adjustment when you are going to feed that tongue back there and put it right through. So that's really nice. You can pop that back, that down, and now it's really gonna line up super well. As you can see, really nice and really dresses this piece down quite well. And then now you have these other two options here, which I think are gonna look great as well. So let's go ahead and pop this off. And let's move on to the next strap option. We'll pull that off scene here. Let's move on to this really cool Perlon. And the nice thing about Perlon straps is that they are adjustable. So you can see here that essentially you can just feed this back up and down, and then this really shortens the width, which is great, which means there'll be less extra end there, tail end, after you loop everything through. So of course now this is really thin. And the thing I really like about Perlon straps, apart from the adjustability, is also even though when you're wearing the adjustment, because there's not holes here, as you can see, it doesn't have any specific holes. It actually relies on you kind of putting the buckle through the netting there, so you have a lot more adjustability. This thing is going to be super breathable and really great for the summertime. So although this is also quite casual, the nice thing is that it does add a bit of that kind of vintage flair. So let's go ahead and see how well I can navigate this on my wrist. Ooh, excuse me, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and poke this through here. Now this is something with any new Perlon strap. You kind of gotta find the hole, and then you would tuck this through here. And I think I shortened it nicely to where I'm not gonna have a lot of tongue left over. So here we go. And as you can see, very sleek, wears super nice, and I think that touch of texture there is definitely very good. And this thing wears really great. And the nice thing is it's really gives you support, because even though it's very thin, the weave gives it so much strength. Which is really nice, but there's also a little bit of extra give in there, so it does give you a lot, that real comfort kind of range of motion there. So really nice, and of course super thin underneath the case there, so it's not going to make this feel like it's riding super high or anything like that. Let me know what you guys think on that. I think that looks pretty darn good on the Perlon. Now to move on to the last option. Now this is a strap that is unique to Wrist Candy Watch Club, and I really like this combination strap. So this strap here, as you can see, has a bit of canvas type material, and then it's also finished off with the leather there, really nice, and of course branded. And then I think this right here is probably going to, actually let me wipe off the dial a bit there. Sorry about that. That's why I wear the gloves, but I find it's just a little bit easier to do the strap exchanges and whatnot with the gloves off. But as you can see, now we're cooking with fire here. Now that is a very handsome look. And then we just feed this through here. Whoops. Then as far as the lengthwise, of course you're going to want this to come out and kind of line up really well underneath your wrist there. I normally try to get pretty close to, which is nice because they do have a marker down here. It gives you a nice little visual reference. But I try to get pretty close to the branding there because I know from memory that when I put this on wrist, it's gonna put that buckle nice and centered, as you can see right there. Oop, actually I put it through the wrong loop. So now I'll take it, put it underneath here. There you have it. Feed that through there. Wham bam. Looking good. And here we go. Now that is really quite handsome and versatile, if I do say so myself. So the nice thing about this look right here is it's actually dressed up, but also dressed out at the same time. Now, of course, that kind of classic grayscale on black definitely easily dresses up. I mean, you could see me with a sports coat or something with this combination, but at the same time, what it offers also is, because of this kind of, you know, that more canvasy material there, it definitely offers a touch more of a dress down. So this, I'd say this is kind of like a business casual kind of look. I think the other two looks were definitely a little bit more casual. You know, Perlon's can be dressed up as well, but you know, anything apart from, let's say, the really a crocodile style or alligator style grain there, I think this is really, really handsome. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is probably going to be my favorite pairing. So I think that looks really good, and I think, you know, even off wrist here, it's probably where it really shines. I think that looks absolutely gorgeous right here laid out like that, with the contrast and whatnot. So let's actually take a closer look, maybe get some low light transition, and you guys can get a little bit better of a look at the dial. Alrighty, so although of course this doesn't have any loom on it, the nice thing is, what I like to do is do kind of low light transition shots, because they do a great job of kind of showing what the watch looks like. You know, as far as the finishing, of course this is fully polished, so not going to be as indicative, but maybe you get a better idea of that dial. As you can see, there actually is a little sunbrush effect there, and a bit almost of a chocolatey surprise, which doesn't sound as appetizing as you might think when describing a watch dial. But you can see there that, you know, this type of kind of radiance would normally get washed out by my hot studio lights, which do a great job of kind of imitating that direct sunlight. But as you can see here, nice transitional, you do get an idea of that nice, very fine sunray finish. Really nicely done there. And, you know, I think for 150 bucks, that's pretty darn outstanding. So I really wanted to share this watch with you guys. Because I think it's just a great value, and you know, of course, my channel has gone through many different phases. I review some watches that are quite expensive and some that are also very much quite affordable. I do, of course, want to let you guys know who are here for looking for that bang per buck option, to keep you guys interested. And I think, you know, I just wanted to kind of, when I saw this, it really spoke to me, and I thought to myself, I'd love to share this particular model with my viewers. You know, the bottom line, I think you should probably buy this watch if you have a larger wrist, you know, or you prefer kind of larger sized cases, but you're looking for something that is a really, I mean, I would quote unquote call this super affordable and also super versatile, and it really can suit any occasion. And I think I'll probably be doing a giveaway for this watch, and even with these with those strap options from Wrist Candy Watch Club, I think they are, you know, they kind of complete the package there. Let me add these here as I kind of give you my final thoughts. What I'll do is I will probably, maybe I'll talk about the giveaway in the community tab of the channel. Figure out how that's gonna work. give you guys the details. I'm sure it'll be something along the lines of, follow me on Instagram, like, comment, subscribe, that whole nine. We did recently hit quite a milestone with 10,000 subs, and I do want to give something back to you guys, because I do appreciate the support and the viewership. I know that my reviews are, probably not the most unique or special that are out there. I think they're, just about the right amount of quality for the amount of time that I put into these. Of course, this isn't my main gig. This is just kind of a thing that I do as a passion. I just wanted to kind of share with you guys, and I kind of started out recording these videos because I was, I guess I wanted to make the videos that I was always looking for. So I know to tend to ramble, and with the the larger kind of subscriber count now, I definitely will be working on for the new year. If you're watching this in the end of 2018 when I filmed it, in 2019 and beyond, I definitely do plan on doing a couple of changes and just investing a little bit more time to make these videos a little bit more polished for you guys. Maybe change up the format, do a couple things different without getting rid of the things that you like. But number one, let me know what straps you guys like best, these strap options. What do you think about the watch? Is it too big? I think if you have a big wrist, it's probably not too big. Of course, ideally this would be something, it'd be 2-3 millimeters thinner, and it would be 38 or 37 millimeters. But it also probably wouldn't be $150. So this really, I think, is a great option for super affordable. Again, if you're thinking about getting something like a Movement Arc Automatic or an Orient Bambino, this could be another option for you. And Seiko has a really great lineage, and I think this is such a clean, versatile dial. And you pair it with these 3 super affordable straps. I mean, these things have to be less than $15 a pop, maybe even 12. I'll have to double check. But definitely stay tuned, and if you're one of my subscribers, you'll definitely see the community tab when I will post kind of the giveaway details on here. If you're interested in me giving this watch away, definitely leave a comment in this video below, or if you actually hate this watch and would like to see me do some crazy drop test. Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, I mean, I'd definitely, this is a cool watch. I probably won't wear it very often because I have such a huge collection, which I also need to trim down. So also keep an eye out for that, because I'm going to start probably selling my watches and thinning down my collection pretty soon. And I do want to give my viewers first dibs, and probably my first dip into that portion of the channel is going to be giving this watch away. So with that said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the video, please do hit like, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.